Hello and welcome back to another episode of
Rohan's Car Pattern.
This is my £500 Suzuki Alto, and I'm going to spend another £500 to modify it for the track. Today's a very exciting episode because we're going to be installing our first modification to this car. After this episode, we can officially say that this is a modified car. We can take it to car meets, people will give us the thumbs up because it's officially modified, no longer standard. And the mod today is something that I think every 17-year-old does when they first get their car. My brother Danny did it to his car, and I did it to my car, and it is of course the humble eBay air filter. Now this here is a flex-on air filter, super power flow. You know it's good. It's got a Porsche on the box. So this is made for Porsches. The Super Power Flow is a high-efficiency air cleaner system developed for high-performance vehicles. Air induction efficiency is improved drastically by Kurt funnel effect. I don't know what that is. I don't think that's a thing. And produces improved engine response and cuts fuel consumption. So this is going to give us more power and it's going to give us more economy, which is brilliant. It's a fantastic thing, and it cost, I think, £10. Very exciting. Now, anyone that actually modifies cars and fixes cars knows that these usually make the engine worse, run worse, and actually sometimes give you less power than the standard box. But I think the payoff for me is that it sounds better. And everyone knows a race car should sound mad. And right now this thing is so quiet. We'll do some before and after comparisons, but hopefully this will make this 3-cylinder beast sound amazing. See, you can flex on Ferrari owners now with this air filter. So let's talk about what an air filter is and what this big plastic chunk on top of the engine is. So in order for an engine to combust its fuel properly, to ignite that fuel, it needs fresh air with the oxygen in it. Without that oxygen, the combustion won't happen. So a combustion engine needs to suck in air, and that's what this is here. This is an air box, and that channels the air into the engine. In this case, it comes through this wee funnel up here into the air filter and then into the engine. And to prevent things like dust, rocks and water getting into the engine itself, we have an air filter. So that filters out all the nasties and just keeps the air clean for when it gets into the engine. Now, a lot of engineering goes into these air boxes from the factory. So Suzuki probably spent a lot of time and money on this air box, and that will be to make sure the flow is good, make sure the noise is at a minimum, and we're going to undo all that hard work with our £10 eBay filter. So we're probably going to be taking out this big chunk of plastic. This looks like it might be important for something, maybe a resonator, who knows. But it's getting replaced with lovely shiny thing. Now this is meant to be a universal fit. We'll find out if it actually fits soon. But this will be going on here somewhere. Now the reason these aren't actually that good is because they often draw in hot air. And hot air is less dense than cold air. You don't get as much in when you suck in hot air. And this will be probably on top of the engine, sucking in a lot of hot air. So it probably won't be that good. Now a proper cold air intake will be somewhere away from the engine, maybe over here, or a lot of people in dry countries put them down in the wheel well, far away from the engine, so you can get fresh cold air. But because this is a budget build and I'm very lazy and it's a 1 litre engine and it won't make that much difference anyway, we're probably just going to pop it on right there. But yeah, let's get the standard air box off and see what we're working with. Alright, so here's the first part of the air box. This is where the air comes in. Comes in through this tube, into this chamber, and it's just a box. It's just an empty box. But this is the air filter, so the air passes through this and gets cleaned up, stops any debris getting through, and then it goes into the engine through that little intake pipe here. But yeah, let's continue. Alright, that is the full air box off. So we're going to be replacing all of this stuff with our flex-on filter that goes right here. Right now though, this hole right here is too big for the intake, so that's not going to fit. But in Flex-On's infinite wisdom, they gave us a few adapter rings, so we can chuck these in like that, push them in, and that'll reduce the diameter, the inner diameter of this hole. So we just got to find the right one. That might be all right actually. If we put that on and then put our clip on, I think we might be onto a winner. All right, that's looking flush I would pass that. As a mechanical engineer, I would pass that. There's absolutely no room for error there. But that should fit on, yeah, that's fitting on much better. And the final step is just to put on our little clip. And that's the install. It's that easy. That's why every 17-year-old does it, because all you do is take a bunch of plastic off, end up with a cool looking engine bay, and hopefully a better sounding engine, despite it probably not making any more power, arguably less power, but we'll see. That is our air filter installed. We've probably gained about 50 horsepower. It's going to sound like a Porsche, and that is the full install. It took about 10 minutes, to be honest. There's a few bits of like brackets and stuff and a few bits behind the airbox, but really I only needed a few spanners and a screwdriver. But now comes the really exciting part. We're going to hear how this sucks in lovely warm air for our engine and ruins the efficiency and performance and everything. But as long as it sounds good, it's staying on. And it looks like a race car now. This looks like a race car engine. Let's turn it on, let's see how it sounds. And when you're turning on an engine, it's good to remove all the loose things because it will fall into the engine bay because it vibrates and you don't want that going into a belt or into your engine, God forbid. Honest opinion, it didn't sound that different, I don't think. It sounded a little raspier, a little bit naughtier, shall we say, but I need to tighten that a bit more. Yeah, I wouldn't say it was crazy different. Maybe because it's such a small engine, it's not sucking a lot of air in anyway, compared to maybe a bigger engine where the difference is a bit more noticeable. But I think, you know, it does make a difference, and maybe when you're under load, when you're driving it around, it'll sound a bit throatier. Foot to the ground, 20, 40. I don't regret this for £10. I think it was worth it because it looks cool and it's obviously a bit silly. Everyone does this and everyone knows it's a bit silly, but yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it. We're going to do a little bonus mod today. Again, this probably doesn't make any difference to the performance of the car, but I'm going to do it anyway. So let's do that. Okay, so it's time for our little bonus mod. Again, this one is pretty stupid, but it's something I put on all my favourite cars. So this one's obviously going to get it. It's the same item. I always take it off the car when I sell it and then put it on the new car. So here it is. It's my special 8-ball gear knob. This is special because any gearbox that you put this on makes it 8-speed. And if you're filming Fast and Furious, you can adjust it 90 degrees and it becomes an infinite gearbox. There's infinite gears, so you can keep changing gears forever. So that's very special. So we're going to put that in. Hopefully the threads fit. I've not tried it, so if not, well, that was a pointless little spiel. Right, so here's the magic 8-speed gearbox gear knob. Let's try put it on. Hopefully it fits. I reckon this will just screw off. Famous last words. These are sometimes pretty tough. Oh no, that was absolutely fine. That was totally fine. So I reckon that will screw off. Am I going to have to... Oh, okay, that just came out. So that's attached. See, I'm just doing this. I'm just taking things apart and hoping for the best as I go. All right, so I just yanked the old gear knob off the Gator. Who cares, because I'm probably going to strip this all out anyway. This looks like a mad race car now. God, the gears are so easy to shift. We'll put that back on for now because it's, you know, pretty looking. But we're going to put on our special infinite gear knob. Oh yeah, it fits. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, that feels excellent. Okay, so let's check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and reverse. That's 9 gears. We do this. Oh yeah, you can just keep shifting forever. This is a stupid joke. I'm going to stop that. That's a really bad joke. But yeah, that feels pretty good. It feels nice and smooth. This one felt horrible and tacky. This one feels quality. When I look down, I know that I'm driving a muscle car. That is an absolute sign that you're driving something powerful. Kind of bad to the bone, you know? But yeah, that's probably it for this episode. We've got our gear knob, we've got our air filter, and that was £10 in total. This was probably about £5, but I've had it for years, so it depends on if you want to hash that out in the comments or not. I'm not going to count it for now, but yeah, there's people that are like, yeah, you need to count that. We can do that. This was kind of a silly episode. We've just done the air filter and the gear knob. Nothing major at the moment. I've got some suspension stuff coming though, and I've got something to do with this coming soon. I've got a steering wheel, boss. Yeah, figured that one out. So I'm getting a new steering wheel installed. So that'll be really nice. That'll be really nice to drive this with a new gear knob and new steering wheel. My friend says he's got some harnesses maybe, which would be sick. That'd make it like a real race car. And of course, we need to rip out the interior. So we've got lots to do still. This was just the starter episode. And that's my cue to stop the video. See you in the next one. Peace. Bye.